darkness that flows and venom that grows. All fell to his might in endless night, transformed by his bite with no hope in sight. Their actions felt wrong, nothing was right. The world held its breath in shuddering fright. He ruled with a fist none could deny. His shadow stretched far beneath black sky.
This is Mosaic of Truth, short takes number 8, Spiritual Authority. I'm Alan Bass. In the previous discussion of spiritual warfare, I pointed out that the spiritual hosts of wickedness mentioned in Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12, refers to the satanic powers of evil in the spiritual realm. These powers of evil are spiritual entities or beings whose existence began in primordial times, long before the record of Adam and Eve as recorded in the book of Genesis. The once magnificent ruler, whom originally was named Lucifer, meaning light-bearer, was given the bishopric over Earth's domain long before humankind's walk on the blue planet. By gazing into this window of antiquity, as seen in Ezekiel chapter 28, we see the veil lifted concerning this covering cherubim of high authority that trafficked in iniquity among his earthly subjects of that distant time, by the Creator's overthrow and destruction of that previous age. With both its ruler and its inhabitants, the earth was submerged under water and darkness. Further distinction between heaven and earth's original creation and the later 6 days of restoration, wherein humankind is introduced, can be seen in the author's book Mosaic of Truth, chapter 2, Creation, Pre-Adamic Earth. After this restorative work during the 6 days and humankind's creation and placement in Eden's garden biosphere, we see this enemy from that previous age make his subtle introduction before something he had never dealt with. Adam and Eve, unique beings, shaped like God in God's image and God's likeness. When we realize that Satan, with his evil cohorts, were treading on a domain that was his former kingdom to administrate before its overthrow, then we understand why he is given the title God of this world and Prince of the power of the air in New Testament terminology. Also, in light of what is rarely taught or seen in today's Christianity, there have been 2 great floods creating a deluge which devastated the inhabitants of both ages, and the rainbow is God's promise to never utilize this form of judgment again. Revelation 12, verse 4, reveals that Lucifer's fall drew a third of these angelic beings into this rebellion against God. The fallen angel, Satan, and this third part of heavenly hosts were demoted and transmutated into those who steal, kill, and destroy with schemes, plots, and strategies of evil. Along with the overthrow of these denizens of the air, the lower inhabitants of earth, which were led into rebellion against their Creator, were judged and stripped of their earthly body to become restless, disembodied spirits roaming the earth. With their corrupt personalities and evil ways intact, these entities swarm like flies, whom their lord and leader has been named Beelzebub, which means Lord of the Flies. These villains from primordial earth are capable of seducing and inhabiting a human to own and command obedience from the possessed. These are what the Bible calls demons, and are largely inferior to their commanders, the fallen angels. The Gospel of Luke chapter 8, verses 27 through 33, documents an incident where a man who was previously bound with chains that could not restrain him was attacking anyone passing on the beach, and this violent madman slept in graves and ran naked to assault anyone coming near. When Yeshua approached, the lead demon began speaking through him, saying with a loud voice, "What have I to do with thee, Jesus, thou Son of God Most High? I beseech thee, torment me not." when Yeshua asked, "What is thy name?" And he said, "Legion," because many demons were entered into him. By this record we see that these disembodied spirits do not require geographical space to occupy, but they seek the inner space of human personality with a physical body, enabling them to manifest and relive their depravity once again. Like a gang of depraved thugs, these spirits assault or seduce those who become vulnerable to Satan's wiles. By ignoring the prohibitions of such practices as fortune-telling, necromancing, as well as many avenues to contact the invisible forces, we open the threshold for these restless entities to practice their deceit and trickery until entrance is gained. Ephesians chapter 6 commands us to be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might, and to put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. By the victorious, incarnated life that Yeshua of Nazareth lived, and the death on Calvary's cross with the shed blood of this spotless Lamb, and the resurrection from among the dead, and the powerful ascension far above all these entities, Yeshua has been given the name above every name, by which authority we believers can tread over all the power of the enemy and free the captives.
From earth's past the villain arose, with darkness that flows and venom that grows. All fell to his might in endless night, transformed by his bite with no hope in sight. Their actions felt wrong, nothing was right. The world held its breath in shuddering fright. He ruled with a fist none could deny. His shadow stretched far beneath black sky. No mercy for those who trembled untold. The land turned to dust, the rivers ran dry. The sun hid its face when death drew nigh. Their actions fell wrong, nothing was right. The world held its breath in shuddering fright. When hope nearly died, the Messiah came near, as promised by God to end all of fear. Yeshua, our King, made the wrong things right, God's promise fulfilled, brought endless life. His mission was clear, no force could oppose. To death on the cross, his victory owes. Now raised from the grave as our conquering Lord, his blood answers pure, like a swift sword. Hallelujah's now ring for our King as arose from death's dungeon dark into freedom for those.